Hey, it's Michael Whalen, and this is the Artist Expansion Podcast, and this is episode number 11. So if you have worked with me as a client at Artist Expansion, you have heard me say hundreds of times that people want to see you play. They do. People want to see you play. So even if you don't play out a lot, like I don't, if you... I don't know, you don't do a lot of, videos and whatever, I strongly encourage you to get over that, like now. Because I think the difference between people who are interacting with their instruments and performing their music and people who don't is night and day. And I think in an environment, and I don't want to start getting people crazy about artificial intelligence, but here I go. I think the difference between a performer who is playing their music and bringing that human touch to things and people who don't is night and day. So I, as a composer, if you've done any homework on me, I have written a lot of music. Thousands of hours of music, lots of stuff for TV, blah, blah, blah. So I am very comfortable playing. Am I comfortable performing? Yeah, I guess. But I think when it comes to performance videos, I think you gotta look at it sort of in three buckets. There's the guys who go and they do covers. I'm not gonna sing. I don't sing like Michael McDonald. Everybody just calm down. One bucket obviously is covers, okay? Another bucket is doing your own music. So So anyway, so you can do a performance of one of your songs. I would say that maybe doing improvisation could fit into that. But there's people who are your listeners who want to see you do the hits, whatever the hits are, or, they want to see you play, but is improvisation... Okay, so maybe there's four buckets. So covers, doing a performance of known material by you for your listeners and your fans. Okay, they're going to like that. Third bucket, obviously, is going to be improvisation. I like doing that. So if you've seen my Instagram, I've got all these synthesizer video where I'm improvising, over chord changes or whatever. The thing that's really interesting about that though is how many of those jam tracks, those synth jam tracks have turned into songs, especially on an album like Broken Hearted Lopsided Blues. There's probably 4 or 5 songs that are directly things that turned into songs on that album, so I would check that out. And then I think the last bucket would be instructional, so which is a big deal. So if you don't know, how to has been one of the biggest categories of videos on YouTube for years. So you want to check that out because I think doing instructional videos and getting into that space is cool, but it is a particular thing. So if you guys remember a little while back, I had Pierre Piscitelli, who does such great instructional videos on his YouTube. I highly recommend them. He has the right kind of energy vibe for doing instructional videos. He's very clear. He's a great player. He does like the little digital keyboard thingy, and it's great. So highly recommend that. The point that I'm making is that people want to see you play. They want to see you play, and they want to see you interact with your own music. A major. So the bottom line is, what do you have to get past? What do you have to get through to do that and do it effectively? And most of it has to do with kind of how you kind of present yourself. I think the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Like, your shoulders are going to go down. You're going to be sort of less tense. Because if you bring tension to it, people know it immediately. You can't hide. So, you can probably tell from my physical thing, I'm good with this. Like, I'm actually okay with this. The bottom line is, you want to look at how can you be doing videos authentically, in your authentic expression, in a way that is going to push the walls out and add to your artist narrative. Because if you're somebody who is, shy, camera shy, music shy, performance shy, whatever, it's okay to come to this like that. It's okay. It actually makes it more special. Now, don't be annoying and have it take like 20 minutes to like get to the first note. But the bottom line is, you want to be your authentic expression. So if you're like, hey, I don't do this very often and whatever, say it. Say it. It's amazing how quickly the space opens up when you're just honest with people. Hey, I don't do this very often. Okay. So like, I don't play other people's music like really ever. So like, I'm not the cover guy. So like, me like, knocking out Michael McDonald is sort of a joke. So the bottom line is, I like to play my own music sometimes. I like to improvise a lot. And I like to use it as a laboratory for me developing my own music. So it's really interesting to have listeners and fans kind of stick with you, and then they see like your little jams and your little improvisations, then they turn into something that's going to show up on an album in a year or 18 months or 2 years. The idea is that playing isn't just playing. Sometimes it can actually be a much larger conversation that you're putting forward to people, and they'll go, oh wow, that's so cool. Oh wow, I heard that connection on this album that he did. Okay, cool. Okay, so if he does that, okay, so then this is going to lead to that. So it's a really important part of your artist narrative to have people see how you interact with yourself as a performer. So if you're not a player, that's okay. You can have other people play your stuff, and then they can send you a video, and then you can feature them playing your stuff someplace else. Like, I have a lot of friends who are composers who are not really players, and I am not really a player. Like, I play, I have some facility, but like, I'm not really a player. And there's people who are going to yell at me for saying that, but like, this whole Michael Whalen, I'm not a pianist thing. Okay, fine. So like, I play the piano in a serviceable way. In the service of my own compositions. But like, are you going to see me do Keith Jarrett? Absolutely not. So the bottom line is, you want to be looking for yourself. How can I be adding to my artist narrative? How can I be giving people what they want? How can I be completely authentic about it? How can I be sort of sprinkling breadcrumbs with the stuff that I have coming up and the stuff I'm developing and the stuff that I have that's sitting in my studio someplace, stirring a pot and saying, okay, hey, I got this, I'm working on this. It's okay to have people come along with this. It's okay to show people something where it's like 50% done. It's okay. I've gotten great feedback from it. I've gotten great feedback where people's like, hey, that's really cool, but here's a suggestion. Wow. Okay, great. So like, are you open to that kind of feedback? So, bottom line, people want to see you play. But more than that, I think you want to be giving that to people because of all this other stuff that we've talked about. I think it's going to be something that if you haven't really taken it on in terms of your social media and what you've been doing, really consider it, because I think it opens up all kinds of interesting channels of conversation, and it's really cool because people want to see you play. I hope this helps.